All right. There we go. What is up, everybody? We got another Thursday night live stream here. And, oh, geez, it looks like total chaos here on the table. Give me a second. It looks good on this camera. You know? It looked all right there, but now it just looks terrible. So let me clear out a little bit of space. What is up? Thanks for jumping in here. I'm excited to get back to doing this. As you guys saw in the thumbnail, what did I call this? Thirsty Thursday Whiskey Sippin'. Yeah, just some real generic, the most generic title I could think of. Because I don't have a plan tonight because I forgot to have Sarah pour me a blind flight before she left. She was walking out the door and I was like, it's probably too late right now, isn't it? And she's like, yes, it's too late. So I kind of had to punt on that, and we've got a bunch of different things. I pulled out a bunch of sample bottles. I have some comparisons, celebrity whiskeys, double oaked, talk about next week's Tuesday taste along, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so there's no shortage of things to do. It's just not going to be in the most organized fashion. But when is it ever that organized? So that's okay. I see a bunch of people jumping into the chat. Thank you guys so much. On your way in, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Let's get some more people hanging out here tonight. And what do I got to say first? Obviously, I'm going to start off like I always do with some Eagle Rare store pick, single barrel, 10 years. But I want to dedicate this stream to my Uncle Eddie. I think my patrons from Patreon, I think I talked about this on Patreon kind of like right when this happened. My Uncle Eddie passed away recently. He was someone I was really, really close with growing up. You know, time passes, you kind of drift from your extended family and stuff like that, but so many, formative, important memories with my Uncle Eddie, and, you know, he passed unexpectedly. I think it was probably about a week or two ago. Time is, flying by right now. Things have been a little crazy. But I just want to say cheers, dedicate the stream in memory of my Uncle Eddie. So cheers, you guys. Have a sip in his memory. All right. I'm going to check the chat here in just a second. Again, hit that like button. Let's talk about a couple things real quick before we get into tonight's stream and start exploring too many whiskeys. And I haven't really eaten dinner yet, so I'm gonna be careful as we go. All right. First off, Tuesday taste along. Next Tuesday, we're back to doing Tuesday taste alongs finally. Okay, and it's gonna be a Woodford taste along. Got the standard and the double oaked. These are the mini bottles, the 375s you can get for a pretty good price. I found them at Kroger here locally. So we're going to do a Woodford Reserve Tuesday taste along this coming Tuesday. I think that's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just keep an eye out for that. I'll get the thumbnail up in the next day or two so that it's up there for a few days. Two other things that are going to be happening soon. I don't have a date for them quite yet. I've got a blind flight here, okay, and a game sent by Amy Bohm. All right, so this is the instruction sheet, and then these are the answers. She says on the back, no peeking. All right, so the answers are on this side of the cards. So this is for me and Trev, and I'm trying to get a date solidified with Trev so we know when we're going to be doing this game from Amy. So thank you, Amy, for doing that. Speaking of games, I've got a box here from Jeff Frederick. And this is from me and the Bourbon Junkies. So I've got to hit up the Bourbon Junkies, figure out when we're going to be doing this. I still haven't unboxed this game yet, but we're going to hopefully get that done soon. Excited to see what that is. And what else? I think December 30th is going to be a Very Merry Matt Madness over on Matt's channel, ADHD Whiskey. We're planning for the 30th to do kind of this head-to-head tasting thing, a little off-season Matt Madness. Not confirmed. But, I'm gonna hit Matt up and see where we're at with that and make sure that we're going to be doing it. So keep an eye out for all of that kind of stuff that's coming up. I'm very excited. Finally, let me look at the chat. Miranda. There you are. This is my cousin. Everybody. my Uncle Eddie's daughter. So it's good to see you, Miranda. We got Dunny in the house. Jake McKee. We got David. Jonathan Wilson just poured out some Remus Gatsby, impeccable timing. I've got Lauralee on deck, something somewhat similar, you know. Booyah, Bodega Cat. Yeah, I got some Bodega Cat. We're gonna get into that and see what's going on with it. Toshi, I see you. Richie Z, JG. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna scroll through here a bit. Gary Franchi, what's up, man? Tom Snyder. YPC. That is a name I don't see very often. What is up? YPC is in the house. James. Cheers. I owe you a message, James. Boyd. What's up? Everybody's saying what's up to YPC. Yes. Thank you guys for the love in the chat. Jay says Taco Bell for camp. No Taco Bell tonight. My stomach's been killing me. I am going to order tacos, but they're going to be no dairy and no gluten. Going to be on corn tortillas from a local taco joint and no dairy. I'm trying to feel better tonight. The whiskey ain't going to help, although it might help temporarily. Amy, I see you in here. Jonathan Wilson, Peter White, a lot of familiar faces. Sugar Kitty. YPC, if you want to... Well, I don't know what kind of handy we're talking, but if we're talking Thomas H., please, yes. Let me know. Oh, Miranda says Makers. Well, here we go, Miranda. Let's pour little Makers out for Uncle Eddie then. And you like Jack, and we've got some Jack on deck tonight as well. The Jack Bonded, which just won Whiskey of the Year from Whiskey Advocate magazine somehow. So I was like, you know what? Let's taste this again and see if it truly is the Whiskey of the Year. I tell you, of all the Makers products, I think the Standard is still my favorite. And I told you guys this however many weeks ago on a live stream at some point. I think the Standard, in many ways, is my favorite because the higher the proof, the more staves you start throwing in. I keep getting funkier and funkier notes that I'm not a fan of. Toshi, oh, this is awesome, man. Thank you for the $20 super chat and for this message. Evening and Cheers Cam package is on its way to you and Matt for Merry Matt Madness. Yes, okay, got the game already in Matt Madness style. We're on with David and Kira for the 30th. Okay, Matt did send me a message and said that we were on, but then I never heard anything else, and I was like, you know, Whiskey Tube is a little loose sometimes. You don't know if things are confirmed or not often. Awesome. YPC. Yes, Thomas H. Man, I've only had Thomas H. handy one time, and it was the 2019. That's the only time I've ever had it. So, yeah, if you've got like a sample or something, man, that would be incredible. I would love to try it. All right. Richie, do I have a Whiskey of the Year in mind? Let me see which one of these is Makers. There we go. Do I have a Whiskey of the Year in mind yet? You know, I have a few ideas. Yeah, I don't think I have one that stands out right now. I'm not going to do a bracket-style shootout for it. You know, the one thing about the bracket-style shootouts for Whiskey of the Year, I just wish I had access to, you know, some of the stuff that I didn't get my hands on. Like, I don't think Remus Gatsby's going to win Whiskey of the Year for me. Although, it could, but based on some other reviews, I don't think it would. But I still haven't had the chance to try that. And, like, B-Tax and obviously Pappy's are crazy. But I don't like the shootout because, yeah, it's just, I don't know. And plus, it takes forever. Kudos to the people that do that. I just don't know if I have the patience for it. Yeah, Joe, this one's high on the list. Very high on the list, Heaven Hill 17. Amy, oh, you've got Gatsby. Amy, I would love to make a trade, some sort of trade, and and get 2 ounces of Gatsby so I can really sit with it and spend some time and then do a comparison video with the Lauralee. And I would happily send you some cool stuff in exchange. If you don't want to do 2 ounces, that's also totally cool. Yeah, Sugar Kitty, that's up there too. So, Toshi Baked package on Monday. Awesome. And Miranda says, tried Makers for Dad, very good. Dad liked Crown Peach, but I prefer Crown Vanilla. I haven't had any of those crowns, to be honest. Just like straight up Crown. John, I've not tried the new Jack Daniel's special release. And I don't think I've actually watched any reviews on it. I've been largely off of Whiskey Tube. So, Top Dog, what's up, man? And Roy. Roy, I'm not into the Lagavulin yet. I want to do it justice. I'm telling you. It will be consumed soon. I do promise you that. Miranda, it's Jack Daniel's Bonded, and it should be pretty widely available. It's just a little bit of a higher proof Jack Daniel's. It's 50% instead of 40%. And I think a lot of it's kind of like advertising, marketing, hype. You know, it's not necessarily going to be the best whiskey of the year. But it is a really solid whiskey from what I remember, and I will try it here in just a little bit. So, okay, let's get into it. So let's put some of these aside. Got a lot of things. So where do I want to start? We got to start with something a little bit lower proof. And I think the best place to go is going to be the Bodega Cat. Okay? So let's talk about this Bodega Cat. For those of you that are curious, you might not know. Let me go grab my knife real quick so I can open this with a nice solid cut on the tack strip. Thanks to Will Henderson, I got a new knife. I don't know if I've had this on a stream yet. It's a Spyderco. A little bit overkill, but that's totally fine. Okay. All right, so got some Bodega Cat. This is 90 proof rye whiskey, straight rye whiskey, and the deal is it's a celebrity brand, basically, from Sam Morrill and Mark Normand, both of whom are comedians, New York City comics. Mark Normand, Sarah and I have seen twice here in Columbus at the Funny Bone. We love Mark Normand. He actually responded to an Instagram DM for me one time. I was like trying to get him to like drink some whiskey with me because he likes whiskey. It did not pan out, but that's okay. I couldn't believe he even responded. So I'll take that as a win. Anyways, this is their celebrity brand. It's 95.5 rye. It does state distilled in Indiana on it, aged for a minimum of 2 years. All right, so 2+ years old, MGP rye at 90 proof. I can't say my hopes are too high for this. All right, take a close-up look here. So Bodega Cat. I can't remember exactly how they came up with the name. I don't think it was the first choice, but I think they ended up going with this. You can see the cat on the front. Cool. Let's see what this is all about. What's up, Trev? All right, so let's see. Color on this, it's a light, kind of goldenrod, light gold type color. Ooh. Honey sweetness. A lot of herbaceous dill. You know, this is in the dill camp of MGP rye whiskeys. It's not so much in like the wintergreen mint. It's more on the dill side. But also like golden grams in here. So we do get this kind of honeyed, not necessarily graham cracker. I don't want to say it's like 100% graham cracker. Yeah, golden grams, honey nut Cheerios, like something along those lines. You do get kind of a cereal note. It's really simplistic, nice and sweet with just a little bit of a rye kick to it. Wow, that's actually surprisingly better on the palate than I was expecting. Wow. This is a very sweet rye. I would have expected this to taste younger, even grainier, spicier. And while it's definitely not, a perfect whiskey by any means, I've got to say this is more impressive than I thought it would be. Truthfully, I think if you were going to give this to a new whiskey drinker and they kind of knew that stereotype of rye that a lot of people don't like rye, that it's for a different generation, that it's really spicy and herbal, and if you gave them this as their first rye, I think this would change some minds for a new whiskey drinker about rye. So, actually, for what this is, and at a low price point, which I think it does have a low-ish price point, Bodega Cat price, let's look it up. 37. That's a little much at 37, but understand it is a celebrity whiskey, and if you're invested in those celebrities, which in this case, Mark Norman, Sam Morril, I'm willing to pay 37 for this, and I'm going to use this as an entry-level rye whiskey for people that come over. Bodega Cat looks like Biggin, says Amy. That's funny. I also am just a sucker for cats. You guys know this. Jerry Black, what's up, man? Look, it's nothing to write home about, but... And it's nothing I'm going to recommend to like a whiskey enthusiast that's trying to find the best value at $37. No, that's not this, but... I am not angry that I picked that bottle up. So that's that's the new metric. Am I pissed that I bought it or not? In this case, no. I'm cool. So I'm going to clear a few glasses here. There's so much whiskey to taste tonight, so. Peter says, must have some older rye. I don't know, Peter. I think it just, to me, well... Here's the deal. It tastes to me like there's more than 5% malted barley in the mash bill, and there's not. It's stated 95.5 on the label, and that's, a very popular MGP mash bill. But if you told me, hey, this is an MGP rye, which mash bill do you think it is? I would think that it's that, don't they have a 5149 or something like that? I would totally peg that as a 5149 instead of a 95.5. Let's do one more celebrity whiskey before we get out of the celebrity territory. And Nate Cox, I see your comment down there. Thoughts on the Puncher's Chance? Let's get into it. Let's try it. I may have done this on a live stream before sometime in the last 9 to 18 months. Like, I don't know. Oh, that smells crazy on the nose off of the neck of the bottle. Not what I remember. So let's get back into this. One more celebrity whiskey. This is Bruce Buffer's whiskey, the announcer for the UFC. Now, Puncher's Chance is expanding. I mean, their portfolio has a 12-year in it now. I believe there are barrel picks. There might even be another new release. I'd have to go look. But it's not just a one-off thing, which is kind of cool. You don't typically see a lot of celebrity whiskeys. I mean, Heaven's Door is a different story, right? But a lot of like the Proper 12s, Bodega Cat, Howler Head, stuff like that. You don't see a lot of those Long Branch getting like line extensions, whereas Puncher's Chance does, which is cool. Let's check this out. This is a 45% ABV, 90 proof, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey stated on the label. There's no age statement, so it's at least 4 years old. And I think the rumors are that this might be Wilderness Trail. Is that the rumor? I can't remember. I'm not super familiar with Wilderness Trail. Only the 8-year bottled and bond, so that might not be a good comparison to this. Whoa, that is a strange smelling whiskey now that I don't know, coming off of that Bodega cat. Smells weird. Joe, cheers, Cam, on tonight's episode of Bourbon Hoarders. I know I'm trying to get through some of it quickly and get it off the table so I don't look like such a hoarder. TJ, or T Jarrett. Good Lord. I'm always want to say TJ. What's up, man? Seeing if I missed anything. Richie Z says, oh, Roy R, what's up, man? Whiskey Advocate, which I never paid much attention to, name that Jack Daniels their Bonded of the Year. Yeah, Whiskey of the Year. Joe says the stuff is $29. This is the Bodega Cat at Costco in Indy. Okay. Cool. Matt Porter, what's up, man? I can't wait for the 30th. I cannot wait. And Darrell is in the house. Good to see you, Darrell. Nate Cox heard that the puncher's chance is turkey. Maybe. This smells kind of gross right now, and I don't remember it being like that. It almost smells chemical to me, like a cleaner you would use in like a bathroom or something. And I remember previously smelling this and thinking it was really sweet and kind of spicy, but still grain forward. This is just weird now. It tastes really, really young. Tons of pepper now on the palate. Pepper and grain. I'm not getting that kind of chemical note on the palate as like I was on the nose. Because of the spice, the youth, the grain. It's got a pretty long finish on it for a 90 proofer. So I think this is going to be something that people are going to enjoy drinking. It'll mix decently well. It might stand up a little bit better to some mixers given the spice level in here. But yes, super grainy. Huh. Yeah, I could see this, the Wilderness Trail 8-year bottled and bond. This does have some notes reminiscent of it. Nate said turkey. I could maybe see how this could be a watered down turkey product, although maybe not as sold on that. If it is turkey, it's really, really young. And it's not carrying a lot of characteristic turkey notes at this age. Now, this bottle is from a year or two ago, so maybe the newer stuff has older whiskey in the blend. I don't know. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of picks. It sounds like some of the picks are possibly turkey. I don't know if they have more sources than one. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are starting to get turkey picks right now. Rumor has it EJ Curley, which I still need to review that single barrel that I've got, which is a really nice single barrel. And if the punchers are doing that and maybe some other brands, that would make some sense. Okay. So, yeah, puncher's chance for me. I thought I liked it more. Oh, this was a clean glass. Dang it. The dump glass is over there. I thought I liked it more last time. Maybe that's not true, according to Jay. But, yeah, not digging it right now. Of the celebrity whiskeys that I've had, I still think, for as weird as it is, Tiger Thick by Brendan Schaub, who, is not a person I particularly care for or support these days, is a very unique celebrity whiskey. It's, I think it's corn whiskey and Japanese whiskey blended together. Yeah, and that Bodega Cat is not half bad. Alrighty. Dunny. Dunny, I've been emailing Middle West, let's say. I haven't been talking to them. They won't return my emails right now. And no shade against Middle West. I love those guys. And they might be totally slammed, but I'm I'm still like my first priority right now is to organize or help organize, I should say. It's not entirely me. A concert in their barrel warehouse with the Columbus Symphony. They want to do an intimate concert in the warehouse surrounded by barrels. And it's a realistic thing. We just need to get the approval from Middle West so we can start working on all the details. That's priority 1. And then priority 2 for me is be consistent on YouTube and then have my first pick be a Middle West pick. I got some funny stuff in the chat I got to get to in a second. All right. We can move these out of the way. So what are we going to go to next? I got a bunch of samples. Let's see. I have a few side-by-sides I want to do with all of you. I think the next thing I'm going to do is taste Jack Daniel's Bonded. All right, I think at 100 proof, this makes the most sense to do next. So let's do it. I've already tried this once on a live stream, right when I got it, fresh bottle crack. I liked, obviously, the triple mash a little bit better, as many people have, or at least for its uniqueness. And I'm a Scotch person, so, I dig that. Let's see. Richie Z, curious to hear your take on Heaven's Door 10-year. Yeah, Richie, I featured that on a few different live streams, and I still need to make my review for it. I love the stuff. I can't say enough good about Heaven's Door Decades. They sent me a media kit for it. I tasted the media sample, and I went out and bought a bottle. And that usually doesn't happen, Usually people send media kits, and depending on the product, it's like, okay, I may or may not review this. No, the Heaven's Door Decades, to me, instant buy. It's very delicate, just like you're saying, but it's a great sipper. My mom says Carrot Top loves Peach Crown. My mom loves Carrot Top, guys. She's seen him like 5 or 6 times or something like that. And I saw him too, and it was great. It was a great show. All right, so on to Jack Daniel's Bonded. First thing I'm getting is brown sugar and banana. Actually smells pretty darn good. A little smokiness in the background. Yeah, chocolate, brown sugar, banana, a little smoky. And the nose is very fresh. It's lively, it's bright, it jumps out of the glass, it doesn't feel dull. I like it. I mean, I think with a lot of Brown-Forman products, you kind of expect you expect them to jump out of the glass. A lot of Old Forester does that to me. There's no better way to put it than it's just a lively whiskey. I think I'm getting that from this Jack Daniel's. A little bit of grain in there, but like when you smell grain on let's say a Jack Daniel's product or an Old Forester product, it's not as offensive to me. It's not as like textured and gritty when you smell and taste the grain notes as, let's say, that Puncher's Chance I just had. That was spiky and peppery and gritty with the grain notes. It's probably the filtering that goes on with this, although Old Forester is kind of a similar thing. The grain notes are not as bothersome when it's young whiskey, and it's mostly young whiskey. Yeah, so a good nose here. And it's interesting now tasting this and not comparing it to the triple mash, because I think I'm going to have a different opinion here. I was just like, this is a fine whiskey when I had it next to the triple mash. The palate is a little bit grainier than the nose on this, a little bit more offensive. You know what I'm trying to say. The grain is grainier on the palate. On the nose, it was that sweetness like I talked about. But palate development front to back, it's patient and paced. It doesn't hit you and go away immediately. It's not all spice without having any body to the whiskey. It's pretty well put together, I think. I do like the nose more than I like the palate on the Jack Bonded. And then as I'm into the finish now, I think I like the finish similar to how I like the nose. But the palate to me is where this thing falls flat just a little bit. On the back end, you get some good leather notes. Nice kind of chocolatey, oaky, a lingering chocolatey oak. I don't know, whatever that means to you. That's what I'm getting here on the finish. So, is it the whiskey of the year? No. But given its availability and its reasonable price point, I'm a bigger fan now than I was before. And now on the nose, after tasting it, letting it sit on the palate, you get a little bit more oak on the nose. Jack Daniels and oak are not a common pairing, you know? So it's always nice when you see that. The Jack 10 in particular. This is basically like a little more abrasive Jack Daniels 10-year, you know? It doesn't have quite that age and that funkiness, but very similar to the 10-year. Yeah, Richie, not whiskey of the year. Let's see. Know anything about Middle West Spirits Pumpernickel Rye finished in port? Yeah. I had a single barrel of that, and it was over-finished for me. In my mind, like the Middle West stuff doesn't need the finish. It's just really good whiskey. Now, as I've talked about before, they've moved from 30-gallon barrels to 53-gallon barrels, and everything coming out now is from the 53s, so it all tastes a little bit younger because it's around the 4-year mark. The finishing might be better on some of the 53-gallon age stuff as opposed to the 30 gallons that they were using. But to me, I felt like there was so much flavor in the 30 gallons. You don't need to put the port or the sherry finish on it like they were doing with the rye and the bourbon. A lot of people loved the sherry finished 4-grain bourbon. I tried the cask strength version of that, and I thought it was way over finished. Although that was also a single barrel, so it's tough. Top Dog, I've actually never had Long Branch. It's just something I look at and I'm like, I don't feel a need to buy this unless I'm going to shoot a video for it, which eventually I would. Oh, wow. Jerry Black says the left cross is a 14-year puncher's chance. So that's either got to be Dickel or Barton then, right? I can't imagine puncher's chance would be putting out like 14-year MGP. Although there seems to be some weird abundance of 14-year MGP right now. 10 Cup has got the 14-year. I've got some of that on the way. All the Maryland Heritage series, like the Gatsby. You're seeing a lot of aged MGP hitting these days. Sugar Kitty, I missed this. Puncher's Chance says what's in their blend is what's in there is a 5 to 6 year blend of whiskey. Okay. Tastes younger than that, unfortunately. Could just be bad barrels, you know. So is Jack Bonded whiskey of the year? No. Whiskey Advocate, I'm sorry. I don't know what they're taking into account, if it's like price versus performance of the whiskey, or if they're just doing whiskey absolute, you know, because if they're doing an absolute comparison of whiskeys, to not see George T. Stagg or William LaRue Weller or King of Kentucky at the top of that list is insane, you know? Yeah, truthfully, I don't think it's for me, it's not a pickup, but I only had a single barrel and it was cask strength. There's a lot of wiggle room there, you know, a lot of variables going on. So I don't want to be absolute about it, but I'm not going to go out and put $100 down on one of the port-finished Pumpernickel Ryes. Okay. What are we getting into? So here's an idea for all of you. I have a couple of side-by-side comparisons. Here I have some old MGP. I've got 110 proof Blom and 114.8 proof Blom. Okay? A lot of people are hot on the Blond Brothers stuff. So I have the 110 and 114.8. I could do side by side. I have Old Forester 150th, number 1, batch 1, and I was going to put that next to an Old Forester store pick. So there's going to be a proof differential, but I wanted to see, how those things stacked up. I have lock, stock, and barrel 16 and 18. I could do a comparison of. And then one other comparison that I was thinking about was Peerless Double Oak and a Penelope Toasted. All right, so a couple of different side-by-sides. And the other sort of one-off samples, I busted out the Woodford Very Fine Rare Bourbon for a reason. I tasted this the other night, and I pulled out a new tasting note, and I was going to share that with all of you if I tasted it again on this stream. I've got Old Carter American Batch 5, and then Old Elk Wheat Whiskey. There's the Shelf 100 Proofer. Richie, Blond Bros is not Michter's. It's typically, I don't know what like the small batch products would be. I don't know if it's distilled in-house or if it's also MGP sourced, but a lot of these 10, 12-year single barrels, Madeira finish, the stuff that goes for like $500+ on secondary, that's all just old MGP, which is what these two samples of Blom are. Yeah, Peter White says, Whiskey Advocate takes advertising dollars spent to determine the win. Yeah. Like, the only way that's not the case is if they're trying to keep price and secondary price, as a consideration. But I don't think you're going to have a hard time convincing anyone of that. When you put Jack Bonded first, Dunny, I've not tried the Old Elk Double Wheat. So let's try let's do a little Old Forester. We just did Jack Daniels. So let's try a little Old Forester real quick. So I have a store pick. I don't know if it's 90 or 100. We'll find out. Let me take a little. 90. It's got to be 90. And now let's check out this Old Forester 150th. Batch 1 of 3. This is from Alex Halverson. Thank you, Alex, if you're watching or watching the replay. All right. So we can start with this store pick. This is called Festivus. It's from Warehouse H, Floor 4. And I'm going to come out here and say it's probably a 90 proofer. Super dark nose. Dark, like plum notes. Extremely sweet. Think like Buffalo Trace sweet. That's a really nice nose. Just tons of dark fruit, sweet oak. Not at all a typical Old Forester profile. I mean, this does not resemble Old Forester one bit. There's a little bit of banana in there, maybe. But I would be more inclined to, like, smelling this. This smells like 1792 12-year to me. Wow. Wow. Now, on the palate, you do get a little bit of that yeastiness. I don't know if you guys picked this up on Old Forester products or not, but a lot of them have this bready or yeasty component. Wow. That is... I can understand now why people seek out these lower proof, these 90 and 100 proof store picks from Old Forester. The barrel proofers never really do it for me, but that is like top tier stuff at $40. Whoa. Jonathan says Old Forester banana bread. Yeah, this one doesn't have that much banana, which is very nice. Banana is a note for me, like I can only do is just a little bit. And I said this compares to 1792 12-year, and that might be because I was sipping on the remainder of my sample that I have or had last night of 1792 12 year. I think I gave that thing like a pretty lackluster review maybe 2 years ago. I tasted it last night. It's the exact same sample that I did the video on. It was awesome. I loved the 1792 12 year. So I don't know what I was smoking back then. Just being a dickhead. Okay. Now on to Old Forester 150th. These I have no experience with. It's the only one that, you know, I'm going to get to taste probably this batch one. Wow. It smells like King of Kentucky. Wow. It has that Old Forester President's Choice / King of Kentucky nose to it. Just sweet, sweet dark oak. I did not expect this. Damn. That is some good stuff. Damn. Palate, not as good as the nose, actually. When I first took that sip, it was like heaven. And then as this thing starts to go down, roll back, it gets a little bit harsh and aggressive and honestly kind of youthful. Oh, but the nose smells so good. It has a little bit of that dusty rubber note that you get on Old Turkey, old, Heaven Hill stuff. Like that kind of profile here. Molasses, sweet oak, dark fruits like plums, stuff like that. Kind of like little bit of acetone. I don't know if that's not a great note, but it's something that's in there. But that dusty like asphalt or rubber thing. So I did not expect this from Old Forester 150th. Wow. The palate is not that great. That's a shame. I mean, it's really, really good. It just doesn't live up to the nose. Like the nose on this thing is, you're starting to get towards Heaven Hill 17 status, whereas the palate is like, it's just not there. Wow. Peter says, I had an Old Forester single barrel 90 proof gone on a blank. Yeah, I don't blame you. This one is awesome. Still love the barrel proof as well. Yeah, I just haven't had a great one. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like a baby version of those. Even like President's Choice to me is like the baby version of King of Kentucky, and this is like the mini-me version of President's Choice. The nose gets damn close, but the palate does not. So, if President's Choice is a 10, let's say, this is an 8 on the nose, but the palate's like a 5. And that sucks. Yeah, Derek, what's up, man? Yeah, batch 1. You can live in the freaking nose. Thank you, Richie. Yeah, guys, hit that like button if you're hanging out tonight. That would be awesome. Let's get a few more folks in here. We got some more whiskey to drink, some more comparisons. So I'm going to kill this. Woo! That's awesome. I wish, we can always wish that it's a perfect whiskey. It's not, but it is really good, and it's way more than I was expecting from this Old Forester release. It definitely knocks the socks off of the 117 series, I think. And I don't know the differences between the batches. Like, I know some people said, oh, this batch is more herbal, this batch is more this or that for the 150th. I don't know any of those differences, so batch 1 is my only experience with it. I'd say that's that's about as solid as I would expect them to be. Excuse me. All right. Get these out of here. Let's do the lock, stock, and barrels. Let's do those. So just a reminder, guys, next Tuesday, Tuesday Taste Along, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, is going to be Woodford Reserve and Woodford Double Oaked, not store picks. Recent bottlings, I believe they're both 2022 bottlings. I have the mini 375s of both. So that's going to be Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Tomorrow should have a video drop for all of you. What else? December 30th on ADHD Whiskey's channel, A Very Merry Matt Madness. We're going to be doing an off-season or out-of-season Matt Madness head-to-head. I think it's Matt and I going head-to-head with David and Kira hosting, samples and rules and questions from Toshi Bake. So really looking forward to that. And then I've got a game to play with Trev and a game to play with the Bourbon Junkies. So lots of cool stuff coming up now that things are rocking and rolling again. Peter says Lock, Stock, and Barrel is Alberta Premium Rye. Okay. Good data point for that. Let's check these out. So I've got the 16 and the 18, and I do believe there are some older versions. Peter, maybe you know kind of the rundown of the different ages, whatever's in this line. Because I believe I've seen like a 21 maybe, something like that, but this is the 16 and the 18. Those are what I have. Johnny says I will wear the belt, but wearing the belt against the creator of the game, I don't know about that. He gave me the belt, you know. I don't have proof points on these Lock, Stock, and Barrels, guys, so I think I should probably look that up real quick. There is a 21 I'm looking at now. Let's see. 16. Yeah, 100% rye mash. 107 proof on the 16 year. I wonder if the 18 is also 107 proof. What do you think? Let's see here. 109 proof for the 18. So that's cool. We don't lose proof going up in age. So let's start with the 16 year, 107 proof Alberta Premium Rye. You have to totally reset your brain when you're dealing with this Canadian rye. Oh, they are both very different, the 16 and the 18. So that's cool. I thought they might be pretty similar. Matt says, I created the game because it is my nightmare. I will do poorly. I know, Toshi. It seems like, I don't know, maybe not the best move. The student versus the master, says Jerry. That's awesome. Matt does not deal well with distractions. Hence the channel name. All right. Okay, so the 16-year 107 proof. As you would expect from a Canadian rye, lighter profile. I'm getting some sort of really juicy and ripe light fruit, and I don't know if I can place it just yet. Kind of like golden apples. Golden apples, golden pears. Maybe that's kind of the territory I'm in. But also just a lot of like pure sugar. It's like if you had chopped up golden apples and golden pears and you just poured just white sugar on it, you know, that kind of sweetness coming off of this thing. Yeah. Now that my nose is adjusted to it, it's got a really nice nose. There's a slight, not ethanol note. There's something chemical about it. Like, I might rehash this note from the Old Forester, but like acetone, maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to try it. Ooh. It's a little short-lived. Well, that's not true. There it is, like coming back. So the first thing that hits you is a lot of rye spice up front. Kind of what you would expect from a Canadian rye. And it starts to fade out fairly quickly. And then mid-palate, as it starts to roll back, this huge wave of sweetness comes in. So it's a whiskey that has layers. It has different waves on the palate. I kind of like that. It's not like my preferred way that a whiskey goes. In my mind, a perfect whiskey hits you, and then it just ramps up and up and up and up. You know, never too much, never too spicy or too aggressive, but always riding that line, full flavored, full bodied the entire way. That's like my favorite way that a whiskey goes. This hits you, it lulls, and then it ramps back up with a totally different profile. Back to the nose now, picking up stuff that I would have never expected when I first nosed this and tasted it. I'm getting barbecue, like smoked meats. And that's really weird. So there's this kind of savoriness now to the whiskey that I absolutely didn't get in the beginning. Thin mouthfeel, or moderately thin. But once you swallow it, again, those two waves. Juicy, sweet, those ripe, light fruits. But yeah, just somewhere along the way, there's a strange savoriness to the whiskey. So I like it. It's not like, like my favorite whiskey. For the style, Canadian rye, which is not a style I'm super familiar with, it's up there, but I just haven't tried that much, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at. And now let's do the 18-year, and then we'll get out of this Canadian rye phase. Let me check the chat, guys. Richie Z, there should be a whiskey competition you could create, and the belt could change hands. Matt's doing his thing, and Matt's awesome, you know? Matt's thing is cool, and I know some other channels do running competitions week to week. The only one that I really watch is Matt's, you know? There's just too much. When you start seeing these week-to-week things where you have to tune in for 10, 12, 16 weeks in a row or something, like, that's a little much for me. I can't do it. But what Matt's created is something that I really love. And obviously participating in it's fun too. But it's just awesome. Matt Madness is like the quintessential thing that Whiskey Tube is about. And that's what I like. Peter says there's a 13 as well, and then a 20 and a 22. Actually, I saw a 21, I think, as well. So maybe, I don't know if that's a sixth one, or maybe the 20 or the 22 is actually a 21. But anyways, Richie Z says 59 chat, 59 likes. Very cool. That's a good ratio. All right, on to the Lock, Stock, and Barrel 18-year at 109 proof, I believe. Bev Porter, what's up? Matt Madness does rule. I promise I'm going to make some new playlists here soon. But in the meantime, let's just do another one of these, a little more up-tempo. All right. Wow, a much fuller nose on the 18-year. Just a 2-year difference, 2 proof point difference, but wow. This one smells a little more American, actually. Like, Canadian rye, help me out here. Peter, maybe you know, and maybe others in the chat. What are the laws regarding barrel aging? Are these used barrels? Because when I smell the 16-year, those feel like used American whiskey barrels to me. When I smell the 18, it feels like there's more, virgin oak, virgin white American oak in there. Like I'm getting more vanillas and caramels out of the 18 year, whereas the 16 was more of that light golden fruit ripeness and sweetness. Peter says mostly all ex-bourbon. Okay. Because, yeah, the 18, I don't know if I could be totally wrong, but I would posit a guess that the 18 year has a little bit of like fresh American oak in it, but I don't know. Alex Halverson, what's up, dude? Yeah. Wow. That 18 year is pretty good. That is pretty good. I actually have goosebumps from that. Maybe I'm just cold, but the 18 year has that palate development that I just talked about a second ago. Like it just starts and it ramps up and up and up and up and up the whole time. Ooh, yeah. This is pretty solid. I generally want to not like Canadian rye, in particular because of what Derek's talking about in the chat. There just aren't a lot of regulations with the style. But yeah, this 18 year on the nose, I'm getting like glazed donuts. All right, so still a lot of that sweetness that I get from the 16 year. Glazed donuts, but some more traditional like bourbon caramels. Tons of bright white pepper. Just a sweet, super sweet with a nice balance of spice to it. I know that's really generic to say. It's not as fruity as the 16 year though. That's good. Yeah. I would recommend that Lock, Stock, and Barrel 18 year. Definitely over the 16 for the bourbon drinkers in here. The 18 year is way more up your alley than the 16 year, I would imagine. I'm seeing it online around $250. I don't think that's a $250 whiskey. Given the current market, I might place that in the $150 to like $180 range. If I had to assign a price to what I just tasted, given the current market of inflated prices, $150 to $180, $250 I don't like. If you're splurging, or if that's an easy price for you to afford, or if it's a gift, that's solid. Yeah. Nice oak on the back end now. Yeah. You know what this reminds me of? Not the 16, but the 18 reminds me of Dusty Old Fitz. Yeah, there's a little Dusty Old Fitz note in here. Maybe just Dusty Stitzelweller in general. No, it's the weeded stuff. Yeah. Is all Old Stitzelweller weeded? I honestly can't remember. But, at any rate, Dusty Old Fitz. Okay. I'm going to pour that back because I'm going to save this Lock, Stock, and Barrel 18 for, well, a special occasion. I got to have Sarah try it. I think she'll dig it. Let's taste some really good whiskey now. Although I did just taste some pretty good stuff. Let's taste some Blond Brothers Old School MGP. So while I pour these out, for those of you hanging out right now, First off, thank you. I know that the likes are probably going live right now, so I understand if the numbers dip and people bounce out of here. I also understand that this stream's a little disorganized, just a lot of random whiskeys to taste. And for those of you who were not here earlier when I mentioned why, I just forgot to have Sarah pour me a blind flight. So, disappointing. My plan was to do a blind tonight with a couple of comparisons or a couple of like intro whiskeys. But, well, I'll just pour these out all the way, I guess. Unfortunately, here we are, just kind of off the cuff. That's okay, though. Alex, what did you miss? I tasted your Old Forester 150th Batch 1 sample, which I thought was pretty cool. Great nose, palate, not as great. But it was like a light version of President's Choice, just with a not-so-great palate as compared to the nose. Some celebrity whiskeys. Jack Bonded because of the Whiskey Advocate calling it, Whiskey of the Year. So, yeah, exactly, Richie, exactly. Next week, guys, for the next, I don't know, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. I will be live every Thursday night for the next 4 weeks, and then I have to take January 19th off. And then along the way, quite a few Tuesday taste-alongs as well. So my conflicts have dramatically dropped. I am no longer teaching at Capital University here in Columbus. My schedule got too busy, so I've whittled things down a little bit and balanced my life out a little bit more. I've been playing so many Christmas shows. Like, I think I played 9 concerts. I had 9 concerts and like 7 rehearsals in 13 days or something like that. It was silly. Like almost every night I was playing a show, a different venue. Played Andrea Bocelli, which last week was what I was doing when I jumped on really late. Some run-out shows, Christmas stuff, all sorts of things. And I'm so glad to be done with that. Oh, the likes are not on tonight, says Jay. Interesting. Amy says you can do the blind I sent you, Cam. I can set up another. Yeah, Amy. Let's see how this goes. Because I'm happy to stay on and doing. I'm a little intoxicated now because I haven't eaten dinner. So a blind could either be like totally pointless or really fun at this level of intoxication. So Amy, let me know what you think. I've been trying to. I texted Trevor a few times today, and he hasn't gotten back to me. He jumped in here for a second to say hey, but I think he dipped immediately. So, yeah. Sorry that it took me so long on that, Amy. You just let me know as this thing develops, because I'll totally stay on another hour and be more exciting if I have a blind. Richie, well, all this stuff was local, so there were no costs associated with it locally, which was nice. Oh, Joe. Dude, that show was crazy. I mean, we only played, it was like a Christmas concert or holiday concert more generally, and we did one piece with them. And for those of you who don't know what Joe's talking about, I played this, we put together this thing with the guy who he's the lead drummer on the Black Panther soundtrack. He actually appears in the new movie. He plays the talking drum, which is this little drum you hold under your arm, and it's rope tensioned. And when you squeeze your elbow in and you squeeze the ropes, it actually makes the pitch go up and down. So you have this hand here that you're playing with your fingers, and this hand has a little beater. And so you're playing this drum while you're changing the pitch, and this guy is a fucking monster. And so, like, here I am, and one of my former teachers, we were like accompanying him, and then we were all 3 accompanying a dancer. I was so out of my element, and it was so cool. Amy says, I think even sick and asleep you could crush the blind. Oh, Sugar Kitty says, Like Time does have a stream scheduled starting now. Okay. Yeah, Derek, I'm on Christmas vacay until, I don't know when. January 4th, I think, yeah. And then even then, I've got all my admin work done for the next 3 months. I did the last couple of days. I just front-loaded everything so I can not be stressed and actually be consistent here on the channel. So that's nice. Old Forester 150th is not great. Yeah, pallet fell off. That old Ezra Alex. I'm saving that, dude. And I'm still looking for one. Whenever I have a grand to drop on a bottle, it's going to be that. Anything like 1976 to 78, old Ezra 15, that's the next special bottle. Okay. What do I have? Okay, we're doing Blond Bros. Let's switch these around, given the proof. I have the 110 proof batch and the 114.8. Let's get into this. Let's try the 110. This is old MGP. Can't remember the age statement. I think it's 10. I don't think it's 12, but let's say 10-year MGP. Oh wow, these are very different. Amy, let's for now let's hold off on that blind. Let's see what happens after this Blom side by side, but I don't want to cause any more trouble with you having to send out more stuff to me and Trev. I feel like that would be, you know, I would feel bad about that. Richie, not yet. Sorry about that, man. All right, so Blom 110 proof. This is really classic MGP for me. I'm getting like that funky green apple note that I get on a lot of MGP products. It's a combination of funky green apple and it's tart, but it's also really dark grape, plum, like purple and black fruit notes. So the fruits are kind of like stratified and really over stewed, I guess, like overripe. But there's that signature MGP combination of earthy, like mossy, wet soil oak, but also sweet oak. This Blom 110 is like quintessential MGP, very aged, tastes great or smells great. I don't know how it tastes yet, but really, really nice. And now I'll come back to that. Now on the 114.8 proof, it's overall lighter, ironically. Peter, let me actually, I'll check on this for you. Blond Brothers 110 proof. Oh, it is the 110 is 12 years old. Okay. And then the 114.8, let's see, maybe that's also 12. No, it's 10. Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. So the 110, the lower proof is actually older. So I'm getting a lot of those darker notes like I talked about, really dark fruits with some of those brighter sour overripe sour green apple notes. But with that earthiness, that damp soil, petrichor if you want, you know, those kinds of notes, mossy. The 114.8, brighter, sweeter, vanilla, white cake, but still with that MGP earthy oak note. It just doesn't have the fruit, the amount of fruit on it that the 12-year 110 proof has. So let me taste the 110 first because it's a lower proof. Oh, it smells so good. Holy shit. Oh, man. Man, that's good. That 110 is freakishly good. And I think the 110 is less sought after because of the lower proof. That is, wow. That's just so much fruit. Dark cherry, plum, that tart green apple note, something I used to get on the Bellmead cask strengths before they went to 108.3. You get a lot of this like bright green apple. I get that on the 110, and again all of those oak notes, the earthiness. Now to the 114.8. That smells good too, though. Actually reminiscent of that Old Forester 150th with the kind of acetone, dense, sticky, sweet molasses oak that you get on like an aged Old Forester, like a President's Choice. This 114.8 has that. That's a toss-up then. Wow. Damn. Palate not as good on the 114. Yeah, it's a little sharper, less balanced. The 110, incredible balance all the way through, nose to palate to finish, everything. 114.8 has a really interesting nose. Palate not so much. It suffers the same flaws that the Old Forester 150th does, batch 1. I'm going 110 all day. Blond 110 over the 114.8 any day of the week. You can't go wrong with either one, but the 110 is special. I'm going to pour these back. Jonathan Wilson, are those Blom from the legendary 06 run of MGP like most of the Bellmead? I actually don't know. I'm not hip on the folklore. I shouldn't call it folklore, just the lore of MGP, vintages or runs. Like, I have never really had, I don't think I've had any of the Bellmead single barrels. I've had one of the older Smooth Ambler Old Scout single barrels, the one that Alex Halverson, who might be in chat still, sent me. I finished that the other night. Incredible. So good. Jeb, I haven't done the Peerless Double Oaked yet. I don't know if I'll get to it. I may or may not get to it. I tasted this like, I don't know, let's say 6 months ago. And I wanted to come back to it and compare it to the Penelope Toasted that I have. Because the price differential, well, $20, $30 maybe. But I was curious because these things float around a lot, and the Peerless Double Oaked, maybe not as common as a Penelope Double Oaked or Toasted. But I'm there's a toss-up now in my mind of like, should I do this blind flight Amy sent for me and Trevor to do, Trev Wilson, or should I wait to do that? But I could do it right now. Jonathan Wilson, you have some Bellmead single barrels. Okay. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I mean, I just feel bad accepting good whiskey samples. Like, I have so much incredible whiskey, and when someone offers to send me incredible whiskey, it's like I feel bad about it because I'm like, I could just drink this other really good stuff, But it is about sharing, and I like to share my stuff too, of course. I'm just someone that feels guilty when anyone gives me something. I don't know. Peter, what year is the MGP? And then he says, was asking because we were drinking some Smooth Ambler Old Scout 2016 single barrel this week and still have a backup. Damn, yeah. That is likely from a similar generation of stuff from this and or the 11-year single barrel that I just killed off the sample that Alex sent me. I don't know, Richie. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, Jeb, I thought this is strange, which is why I want to get a sample of that Remus Gatsby to compare. Okay. Let me catch up in the chat. Richie says, are those delicious older MGP barrels distilled by Greg? I don't know, Richie. I would imagine so. I don't remember when he left, but given this, like, these would be 10 and 12 years old, probably released a few years ago. Let's see when he left MGP. Let's see if I can find that on Google. Let's see. He left in May 31st, 2016. So these are all distilled by Greg. Let me keep looking here in the chat before I carry on here. All right, Amy, what do you think? What do I do? Do I do like one more comparison and jump off here? Or do I do the blind you sent? I'm whatever you think. If I did this blind right now, then Trev would have to do the same blind, and someone would have to like nobody could spoil it for him, or else that would be no fun. Like, what do you think, Amy? Big Potato, I have not tried any 2022 BTAC stuff. I've heard that this GTS is ridiculous. I don't know. Amy says, do the blind. I'll send it. All right, here we go, Amy. I'm a little intoxicated. Oh, I can't. I'm going to order. I was going to order 4 tacos after this and have them DoorDashed here. I'm going to order like 5 or 6 now. It's going to be a rough night. It is going to be. But I don't have to even be like conscious until 6:45 p.m. tomorrow to go to dinner. So, you know, we're good. We're good. So I have Amy's blind here. All right. Let's see. I got to put it in order. Ooh. Right to left, so it's left to right for you guys. Let's just do this. Let's just do a freaking blind flight. Bearded Bourbon 502 says, hope you're doing good, champ. At this point, well, thank you. I am doing good. So thank you for that. I am doing very good. Life is good, and I hope you're doing good, too. But no longer champ, you know? We're in the off season. I still have the belt from last Matt Madness, but at this point, we're not looking back. We're looking ahead to the next Matt Madness, which I've got high hopes for. Copper Wolf, that's got to be Tennessee. That's got to be Tennessee. All right, here's the dealio. We're going to do a blind flight. I'm going to get 4 fresh glasses. Before I do that, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I'm going to take these bottles off the table. Well, yeah, I'm going to take them off the table so I'm not tempted. And I'm going to grab a few Epic bottles to put on the table, so if someone sees the thumbnail as they're scrolling by, from now till the end of the stream, they might click on it if they see, like, King of Kentucky or, God forbid, Blanton's. So let's grab a few of those. You got to do what you can, you know? What else do people know? Let's do... Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. Yes, exactly, Jonathan. Clickbait. You got to do it. Well, you know, my thumbnail today, which I made at the last minute, is not going to help me out any. It's me playing freaking marimba at my show last month. You know, bourbon people are probably not going to click on that. But if they scroll through while I'm still live and they see this little thing on the table, God forbid, they might click on it. And one last thing, so that I can reset myself. I'm going to go take a leak, and I'll be back in like 90 seconds. So please don't go anywhere. Talk amongst yourselves or something. Let me grab 4 new glasses before I do that. BRB. All right. Roy, yes, it really is. The barrels do differ pretty widely. So, you know, what am I hearing? Hang on a second. I think my computer's making a crazy sound. My computer sounds like it's going to explode. The barrels do vary widely, and it's one of those things like most people can't even taste in their lifetimes a King of Kentucky, and I completely understand that, and I would have never tasted it either had it not been for Alex Halverson sending me a sample and then me spending $1,600 on this bottle. I mean, it's serious stuff to try to get your hands on. That said, if you can try a few barrels and find one that you like, that's really important. I've tried, I think, 6 barrels of King of Kentucky, and one has stood out far above the others. And we're talking like this whiskey is like a 96 out of 100, and the barrel that stood out is 100 out of 100. It is almost a completely flawless whiskey. The best that I've ever had. And then some of the other ones, maybe 94 out of 100. Like, so it does, there is a range to these things. I tried to be quick, dude. I really tried. Richie Z says, my ex asked me why do you and those people need that many bottles of whiskey? I said, because we're curious and exactly. Oh, Colin, good call. Very good call. Let's just get that. In there. Because the Aquafina ain't going to do it. No, Bearded Bourbon. I don't know the distillery or the bottle. Okay, so here's what we've got going on here. All right, Amy has sent a blind flight. This was originally for me and Trev, and I'm just doing it solo tonight. And I don't think Trev's going to see this back, and please nobody spoil this for him. Amy, I don't know. Did you send Trev the answers too, or just me the answers? Because this has been buried on my table over here for weeks at this point. Maybe months. Sorry about that. Okay. So this says nose and taste. Tell us what you think. Tasting notes. 1 point for any correct piece of information. proof within 5, type of whiskey, bourbon, rye, wheat, etc., distiller. So, proof, type of whiskey, distiller, and then there are some questions here. Are any of these finished? If so, which one or ones? Which bottle has the highest proof? Which has the lowest proof? And then it says, you know I love 1920 and frequently put it in blinds. Is it in here? 2 points for correctly guessing a theme and 5 points for correct bottle. So the points don't mean much for me right now except for the fact that it's just a total possible and then what I get from the total possible. Okay, so let me do this. Amy, blind flight. I'm going to put this in a note on my phone and keep track of everything here. Jeff, these things vary in that way. Like, flavor profile doesn't vary super widely, but what does is actually like the drinking experience. So I've had a few Lucky 7 14 years that are flat. Proof plays a part in it, but not entirely. And then I've had a few with a weird chemical note. So yeah, Trev is clueless. I do have the cards, Amy. All right. Also, just thank you all for hanging out tonight. I know I've been absent. I apologize. I'll be on for the next 4 or 5 weeks in a row. You'll get sick of me, I promise. So let me pull these cards out here. There's a note on the back here. Amy says don't peek, so I'm going to remove the note and put it over here. I'm going to make sure. So A, B, C, and D. Yep, and they all have up arrows to show you which side is up. Show me when I show all of you what's going on here. So let's pour these samples. I'm going to pour all of them in their entirety, and then if I have enough to pour back into any given sample bottle, I will do that. So let me get off the parafilm here. And then I will get these poured. Roy says, to Toshibe, King of Kentucky or George T? Yeah, this is going to be an interesting answer. What does Toshi say? Depends on the year of George T. Stagg. 14 or 09 beats King of Kentucky. I haven't had either of those, but King of Kentucky beats the last few years. Toshi, have you had the 2022 GTS? Because people are losing, I mean, they're losing their minds over this bottle. Sometimes this parafilm gives me a really hard time. Okay, here we go. And the last sample now. Amy, I'm so excited for this blind flight. Selfishly, I'm glad I get to do it tonight. I'm so sad that I forgot to have Sarah pour me one before she left for the evening. All right. God, sometimes this stuff is so hard to get off here. I have a knife, but I don't even think the knife is going to help me in this case. There we go. Okay. Let's turn the jazz back on. Let's turn the freaking jazz back on. Let's relax. Richie, I did forego dinner. Yes. Unfortunately. Oh, these are not in the right order. What am I doing? Wait. Oh, no, they are. The A and the D look similar if they're sideways. So I have to make sure the D... Okay, we're good. All right, Amy. Glass A is poured. B is poured. Guys, I've been watching a lot of wine blind tastings because I'm just dipping my toe into wine. I'm not even going to say that I'm starting to get into it. I need to not say that. Just dipping my toe. I'm watching blind tastings. I'm watching the way that they kind of funnel down their analytical approach to the tasting. It's interesting for me to see when people talk about, all the different things with the wine, when they're talking color, they're talking viscosity, they're talking whatever the hell else they talk about. I don't know all of it. And they talk about medium, medium plus, medium minus, like to see people in the comments trying to guess what the wine is or say, I thought it was this given your notes, but it was this, which threw me off. That's so interesting because everything's very formulaic in the wine world. So, I don't know why I'm saying this, but doing a blind right now, I have wine on the brain. Not that I could even figure out a single thing about a wine blind tasting, but it's just what I've been watching. Yeah, Peter, they do spit it out. Amy, yeah, terroir for sure. Yeah, Toshi, I've not tried either one of these yet. Jeb, I felt this, man. I'm so glad you're saying this right now. When I watch these videos and I see people in the comments, well, look, first off, when I watch the videos, they give tasting notes, but they give the common tasting notes of that particular grape or the style that they believe the wine is. So if they're tasting like a Cabernet, the things that I commonly see, blackberry, tart cherry, cassis, graphite, like they start naming these things off and they say, oh, herbs. It's like, what I love about whiskey is there's no system. And so when I, for instance, Woodford Very Fine and Rare, I brought this out tonight. I'm not going to get to taste it. But the reason I did is because this taught me a new note. If you guys have ever smoked cigarettes, I've never been a cigarette smoker. I've just smoked some cigarettes in my life. But when you open a pack of cigarettes and you smell it, you smell like the opened, unsmoked cigarettes. There's a really stale and very particular smell that you get from that. Like Woodford Very Fine Rare has that for me. It smells like orange marmalade and unsmoked cigarettes. And I mean, the unsmoked cigarette thing is so potent when I smell this. But in the wine world, I feel like they just stick to the notes that are correct, given what they believe the grape is, or the blend is, or the style, or the terroir, or whatever. And they go with that. I don't like that, because there's no originality in a lot of the videos I've watched. I'm sure some of them are original, and they have great noses and palates, but you don't see that in the stuff that I've been watching. All right. So let's check this out. 1 point for any correct piece of information. So proof, type, distiller. So those are 3 questions for all of them. Proof, type of whiskey. So age, Amy, is not on here. Maybe that's because they're not all age dated or even known ages and blends, etc. Proof, type of whiskey, and distiller. 1 point each. So let me write this down. Thank you for everybody for bearing with me as I do this. 1 point for each correctly answered question. Are any of these finished? Are any finished? So that's one question. If so, which one? That's going to be another question. Lowest proof, highest proof. Okay. And then the last question, is 1920 in here? And then 2 points for a theme. And the last thing, 5 points for any correct bottle. And there's no time limit. So let's do this shit. I'm so excited, and I'm too drunk for this, and that's why this is going to be fun. Peter. Yeah. Yeah, bearded bourbon I haven't been to Starlight basically, but I want to go down there and try everything that they have. All right. Cool. Get a little water in here, and then we're going to get on with this blind flight from Amy. Let me throw up a banner. Why not throw up a banner? And can I put an emoji in my banner that I put on here? Let's see. Whiskey. I think I can. Add banner. And do it. Nope. I need it to scroll. Why won't the banner scroll? I thought the banner's ticker. It's supposed to be able to scroll up across the bottom. There we go. Boom. Okay, there we go. Amy, that's funny. All right. So, on the nose, let's go to Glass A. Glass A smells like a Brown Forman product to me. So let me show you all right now before we get into it what is in Glass A. I will show you before I do this. So, let me do this. Let me get it to focus on just anything. Here's the rules sheet. Okay. Now I'm going to put this up, and I'm not going to look. All right. So I promise I am not looking right now. Give me thumbs up in the chat to let me know that you guys have seen this. But this is what is in Glass A. I'm going to give you a quick analysis of this first, and then we'll move on. Okay. There we go. So Glass A. My guess is this is some sort of Jack Daniels. Just given the nose, but it does smell a bit high proof. I don't have to guess anything specifically nose or palate, which is nice. Let me grab a little piece of paper or something I can write on. I'll just do it this way. I'll write on what Amy sent here, this piece of paper. And I'll try to nail it, because I have the questions on my phone I'm looking at. And let me look at Glass A. So I'm going to say Jack Daniels. Maybe not. I'm getting some nuttiness on this now. Let's see. The proof is high. Let me take a sip of this. That's really deceptive. Yeah. Nuttiness, peanuts. There's no way that's a Jack Daniels. Something on the nose made me think that, but there's no way. Type of whiskey, that's got to be a bourbon. I'm going to lock that in. Distiller, with that amount of nuttiness, I'm going to say it's probably Beam or Heaven Hill. Yeah, Amy, thank you. Please, 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 no spoilers in the chat. And don't even fuck around. Like, pardon my French. Don't be like, I'm tasting Old Fitz, and you say something about something that relates to Old Fitz, or don't do that. Don't do that. Just look at the cards, and I'm going to go through this. The fun for me is interacting with you while I do this, and I don't know what I'm tasting. And it's fun to get things right. It's equally fun to get things wrong. I still am getting some banana in this really nutty bourbon, and I don't know why. So, Amy wanted me to describe. Let me check out the rule sheet again here. Nose and taste. Tell you what you think. Tasting notes. So, I will do that. Nuts. Banana nut bread. A little ethanol. A little floral. Which hints at a high rye content. Proof is not super high. This is hitting me like a 105 proof. That's my initial guess. 105 type of whiskey bourbon distiller. I'm gonna say this is Baker's 107. Like, for me, first and foremost, I want to just give first impression. So Baker's 107, Jim Beam. I may come back and change that, but I'm getting a Jim Beam nose. It's feeling like there's high rye. I don't know the Baker's rye content. It's a weird in between for a Jim Beam product. It doesn't feel as high proof as a Booker's, although I guess it could be. And I guess it could be Heaven Hill, but I'm going to go Baker's 107 on this. All right, so let's go to glass B. I'll leave myself a little room on this paper in case I want to make some changes. So B. B smells fantastic. Let's look at the color from A to B. Yeah, B is quite a bit darker, and that's exactly what I would expect. B smells like Old Forester 150th from earlier. Or President's Choice. It has that kind of super sweet, sticky, molasses, syrupy oak. The palate does not have what I expected here. My initial impression of glass A was that it was Brown-Forman. I want to keep that in mind because glass B is also giving me a Brown-Forman impression. And so thematically, there's a theme for the flight. This could all be Brown-Forman. Let me show you what is in glass B. Okay, so let me zoom in here to this camera angle. And I'll put this... Oh, I got C and B. Okay, B. I will put this right in front of these glasses. Hopefully the focus stays. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can see this. Okay, I'm turning my head. This is glass B. So let me know that you can see this, please. I'll go 3, 2, 1. I'll put it away. And now turn back around. There. Okay. All right. Let's go back to B. See, B is interesting. I'm getting... What's happening here? In B, I am getting the same thing that I got from A. The initial impression is, oh, this is Brown-Forman. And then I smell some nuttiness that's like throwing me off the track. B, color is darker. I'm going to say it's either higher proof or more age or both. On the nose, I would say the proof is definitely higher. Yeah, there could be more age here. But I'm getting that Jack Daniel's note that I learned from Matt Porter, actually. The red wine note that I get from Jack Daniel's. I'm getting that on the nose here from both. So right now, my thought of a theme, even though glass one, I was getting nuttiness, which is throwing me off. I said Baker's 107. I might come back and change that. We'll see. If these were all Jim Beam products, let's say, with that nuttiness, and if glass A were to be Baker's 107, which would be my best guess if it's Jim Beam, glass B at a higher proof, darker, maybe more age, what's that going to be as compared to Baker's 7? That's like what I'm thinking in my mind. super black pepper. Really spicy, but still doesn't feel that high proof. I don't know. This is interesting. And I'm hoping glasses C and D will help me kind of work this out. I'm not even gonna take notes on B yet. C is very different. D is way different. I don't like D at all. Oh. D is a Maker's Mark product. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. I cannot let myself change my mind on that. That is Maker's Mark. I'm circling it. Amy says B has some crazy legs. Let's check out the crazy legs. Okay, what about A? Let's see A's legs. Hang on. Let's try to do this really quickly. And oh shit! I just dropped some of glass B into glass C. Well, I hope I don't fuck that up. Sorry, Amy. I'm swirling too hard. Yeah, B and A. Okay. Okay. I'm just thinking here. D's got to be Maker's Mark. 100%. Which makers? That's gonna be the question, because I do believe I smell French oak in that, but that can mean a lot of things. That could mean 46 cask. That could mean a private select. You know, it can mean a lot of things. And it smells cask strength to me, so it smells like a pick or 46 cask. All right. Let's go to C. Let's take some notes on C. Yeah, and C, unfortunately, I dropped a few drops of B into C when I was swirling it, so that's really not great. Let's see if I can still do this. So these are not all from the same distillery, so I can get that out of my head, which is really good. Could be a proof theme at this point. Could be an age theme. Could be a Kentucky bourbon theme. Now that I know I have makers in the mix, that is a pick point that I can base things off of. So you guys have seen glasses A and B, which are more different now than I wanted to believe at first. Let's go to C. C smells like either Buffalo Trace or MGP to me. So let me show you guys what's in glass C, which again I've tainted with glass B with like 2 or 3 drops. All right, so let's do this camera. Okay, ready? I'm going to turn my head and lift this up now. And I guess, let me put this down. I'll turn my head back. I guess what I should do is this and show you that I'm turning my head, right? That would be a little bit easier or a little more trustworthy. So here's C. I'm turning my head. C is up. There, I think it's flush with the bottle, or with the glasses now. I'll put it down, turn my head back, and move it over. All right, so that was C. All right. Peter White, what's the over-under on Avatar earnings? I'm not even interested. It's been too long. I don't remember movie 1. I don't know. Okay. Glass C. I said Buffalo Trace or MGP. There's a fresh, sappy wood note to glass C. Nose. Fresh, sappy oak. Let's say that. It's green. This has to be Buffalo Trace. So maybe all of these are weeded, actually. Makers. This could be antique. This is antique or foolproof. Weller. This is antique or foolproof. I am 92% certain this is antique or foolproof. I'm getting like flowers, strawberries, very summery, whiskey. I think that's antique. I think that's Weller antique. I think Glass D is some sort of makers. So if this is a weeded flight, what would A and B be? I was getting nuttiness on both. Some hint towards Brown-Forman at first, but I don't believe that's the case. If I'm getting nuttiness, I'm not getting Brown-Forman. I know that. So if I think weeded, does Jim Beam have a weeded bourbon? I can't think of one. So I go to Heaven Hill. I think Old Fitz. I think possibly Lux Row has Rebel Yell. I think there's Rebel 10. So I think the theme here is going to be weeded bourbons. That's where I'm at. Jeb, I'm not that sophisticated. So let's try Glass D now. I'll show you Glass D. I don't think I've shown you Glass D yet. So there's D. So I'll hold this down. I will pull this up, and here we go. I'm going to turn my head. And then I'll keep this flush with the glasses so it focuses. There you go. There is Glass D. 3, 2, 1. Put it down. Drop it. Just make sure these other 3 are on top. Okay. Let's see. A, B, C, D. Okay. Cool. Back in order. Let's remove this. All right, so Glass D now. Yeah, Makers. Smells like spoiled Greek yogurt. But I'm getting a ton of funky baking spice. That leads me to French oak. Yes. And dark chocolate and just like bitter dark chocolate and barrel char. Wow, that's really chocolatey. And I don't believe I get that much chocolate. Well, what is 46 cask strength? Maybe this is cheating. Makers 46 cask strength. I'm just gonna look up the proof. What is that bottled at? Oh, comes in between 108 to 114. So I'm okay. I'm glad it's variable, just like the Private Selects. I don't remember getting this much chocolate on one of those. So I'm going to say that's probably like a Maker's Private Select. Yeah. Maker's Private Select. And I'm going to guess the proof here. Is 112. I guess that's antique. I have to go back to glasses A and B now. Let me check the chat. I am too drunk for this. Okay. Oh no, Matt Porter just in his Patreon said there are Bourbon Outfitter shipping changes. What are the changes? Please say Ohio is good. Oh, thank God. Okay. I want to get that backbone pick he did. 100-month MGP. I am down for that. All right. I'm just looking at the chat. Talking about Brora in the chat. Amy says seeing the thought process is so cool. I'm glad, Amy, because I feel like it's boring as hell for everybody to see this, me going through a blind flight. Jeb says, wondering if I water my Blanton's straight from the barrel, if it'll give me the gold experience. I've had only a terrible Blanton's gold experience, so, well, truthfully, my straight from the barrel's not good either. So I just wish you the best of luck with either one. Jeb says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I promise. Look, here, like, Amy did send me these cards in advance, so there could be a thought in the chat of, like, Cameron is cheating. Totally get it. Matt Madness, I called a lot of bottles on the nose. I called all the bottles given, what we were working with in the finals. Like, I would understand if people thought I was cheating. If anyone wants to send me stuff and not send me answers on cards and post those answers somewhere that people can access, and I clearly don't access those, whatever, like, I'm totally okay with transparency, however you want to do it, but I promise I'm not cheating. I promise. There's no, like, this is the thing. I need to be careful here. There are people in life and in Whiskey Tube that do definitively look at answers that are given to them before they do these flights. And there's decent evidence to support that. Okay? So it's not unheard of. But I promise you I don't do that. So, anyways, all right, let's go back to glass A and B, because I think I have C and D locked down. So glass A, I'm not getting sharp peanut, I'm getting peanut butter. These are very distinct notes for me, because sharp peanut oil, peanuts with like pepper and cinnamon on the top, that clearly indicates Jim Beam. When I get peanut butter, a sweet peanut, a creamy peanut, I am on Heaven Hill. And now that I've tasted quite a few Willet products, actually, like 6-7 years, stuff that's coming out of Willet, their own distillate, those give me a very, like, underripe green. Does underripe peanut make any sense? Like, there's a green underripeness, there's peanut, there's really sharp alcohol, sharp ethanol, and acetone. That's Willet. So those are my, like, when I think of peanuts, I think of those three distilleries first and foremost. Glass A, peanut butter. I'm thinking Heaven Hill. Glass B is really tough. It's dark. It's aged. I don't know. Yes, Sandeep says, sounds like you're drunk now. Well, I am drunk. I did give the caveat before I started this blind flight that I was a little drunk. All right. Glass A. I'm thinking Heaven Hill, but I'm getting this banana note, and the banana thing is throwing me off. It's like, I'm going Barton. Excuse me. I'm going Barton. I'm going Brown-Forman, but peanuts. What could combine all of these things? I need to dial in on the proof. I'm going to go for proof as a stat that I pick out, and then go for the other things. So if I believe glass C is 107 proof, if I believe that's antique, Weller Antique. And I go back to Glacé now. I believe Glacé is... Previous notes, I've called it as 105 proof. I could see this being as low as 100. If I stick with my previous guess of possibly a weeded flight, I'm going to call Glacé as 100 proof. I'm going to say it's an Old Fitz. And then I have to guess the age. Let me see what else I have to guess. I have it on my phone here. Distiller, highest proof is 1920 in here. I don't believe 1920. That's really tough. I don't believe 1920 is in here. Okay, so theme, 2 points. I'm going to say for right now, weeded bourbon. Highest proof. Okay, we'll get there. Are any finished? That's an interesting question. I'm going to believe all of these are weeded bourbons, type of whiskey. Let's just say that. And then distiller, I am labeling that. Proof, I am labeling that. Okay. Joe, I started reading your comment about Glacé. I'm not going to read the rest of it. I don't want anything that could even hint at a hint, I guess. Yeah, I think that's an Old Fitz. I think it's hang on. Yikes. All right. So, I had to take a little sip of something out there. Is that cheating? I don't know. Oh, I might be totally off on glass. I think I know what Glacé is. I said 105 proof. That's not good. Okay. All right. I have very little left of Glacé. Hell yes, I got Glacé. Let's go. I'm not going to say anything until the end. But I am 90% sure of my Glacé guess. But I'm not going to say anything. But the proof doesn't make any sense. Unless... All right. I'm not going to talk about Glacé. I'm just going to go to Glass B. I think I'm going to get every single bottle. I think right now, I know glasses A, C, and D. I think I can guess the bottle. And I think I can get within, let's say 3 proof points of each. Amy says, show the cards again. All right, Glacé, hang on. So you can see they're facing down. Let's go add this to the stream. Okay, I'm turning my head. Wait, hang on. I cannot see the bottoms. Okay, this is Glacé. All right. glass A. I'm going to get these out of the way. There's glass A. Okay. Okay. I've got A and B together. Let's pull these away. Boom. This is glass B. Okay. Let's get C in there. Okay. There we go. And last but not least, we're going to do glass D. I'll just pull this back. There's glass D. All right. All right. So put those down. Remove. Okay. So glass B is my last one standing. I could be totally off here. But I've talked myself into something. Yep. Amy? All right. Yep. I have to guess an age on glass B. Actually, I don't have to guess an age, but I have to guess a bottle on glass B. I don't think it's that old. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this. Glass A. Let's talk about tasting notes. At first, I said initially brown Foreman, and then I got some nuttiness, and I said banana nut bread, and then I said ethanol, and then I said floral. I'm starting to get into younger notes. I said bourbon, 105 proof. No. Before I nosed or tasted anything else, I said Baker's 107. Sorry, I have the hiccups. I'm drunk. I said it's a bourbon. I changed my mind at the end. And I said I wasn't going to talk about Glass A until now. I believe Glass A is a larceny barrel proof from Heaven Hill. Let me make sure I'm getting all these facts right. Larceny barrel proof. It is a bourbon, a wheated bourbon, in fact, from Heaven Hill. I believe the proof is 118. I believe it is not finished. And lowest proof. I don't believe this is the lowest proof. Highest proof. I do believe this is the highest proof. I do not believe it's 1920. Theme, I believe, is wheated bourbon. I believe this is larceny barrel proof. Glass A. That's not good. That's not good. How did I... Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. I psyched myself out. But I know these are all wheated now. This is 1792 sweet wheat. I psyched myself out on the proof, which I did not believe. Because at the beginning, I had Baker's... I had 105. Then I said Baker's 107. Then I was like, oh, it's... I'm getting similarities to B, which I believe to be Old Fitz, which we're going to get to. So if it's the same distillery, then I believe it's a little more intense. Maybe it's larceny barrel proof. Damn it! My proof meter is off. So, let me calculate this real quick. Glass A. What did this get me? Proof. Absolutely 0 points. 0 proof. Type of whiskey. I said it's a wheated bourbon. Yes. 1 point. Wheated. And distiller. I said this was Heaven Hill, so 0 points on distiller, which is Sazerac or Barton. I said this was not finished. I said this was the highest proof. That's hilarious. It's definitely not the highest proof. Not highest. Okay. Is 1920. We'll find out. Theme. I said wheated bourbon. 5 points. I did not get the 5 points. Okay. B. So B. I said because I thought this was Also Heaven Hill, as I thought A was. I thought this was Old Fitz 100 proof. Wheated bourbon. I said 11 year. I was just trying to guess a year. So B. Jesus Christ. I got the proof. 100 proof. David Nicholson. 1843. Is that wheated? Can somebody please confirm that with me? I've never tasted David Nicholson. Amy says the proof on the nose for A is high. Yeah, my sweet wheat sucks. And what's so funny is I remember a live stream that I tasted my sweet wheat on, and I said banana bread. And I literally fucking wrote that down on my card. I wrote banana bread. But I would have never guessed that was sweet wheat. I mean, I can't be mad at myself. I would have never guessed it. So B is David Nicholson, 100 proof. I said 100 proof. I said 11 year. This is definitely not 11 year. The color differential was not age, apparently. It was just proof. And it has a weird note in there because I think it's young. Okay. So B. Let's see what the qualifications were. Proof, I nailed. So proof, 1 point. Type of whiskey, wheated bourbon, 1 point. And what was the last one? Distiller. I said Heaven Hill. David Nicholson's Heaven Hill. I'm giving myself that point. It's sourced. 1 point, Heaven Hill. What else? Are any finished? I didn't say it was finished. Lowest or highest proof? I guess I needed to guess a lowest proof. So I'm going to say, well, no, sweet wheat was the lowest proof, so I didn't get that right. Glass A was the lowest proof, so I'm not going to get that right. Is 1920 in here? No. Theme, wheated bourbon, 5 points, any correct bottle. I said Old Fitz, not correct bottle. Okay, let's go on to C. So glass C. On the nose, I said fresh, sappy oak. It's very green. I said, what did I say there? Flowers, strawberries. And then I said it's probably Buffalo Trace. And it says probably Antique 107. I'm going to stand by that. Antique 107. Boom. Nailed it. OWA. It's probably the OWA I sent to Amy. Maybe not, but I think I did send Amy one. So I got all the points on that. I'm going to say nailed it on my notes. Now let's go to Glass D. This one's interesting. Glass D. Highest proof. My guess was Glass D because I guessed no, excuse me. That's not right. Glass A, I guess, is the highest proof, which was the lowest, which is terrible. So Glass D, I will not get points on highest proof. I said this is a Maker's Mark Private Select at 112 proof. Although, if this is cask strength 46, which ranges in proof, I could also see that. But my guess was Maker's Private Select 112. I don't think Amy would include a Private Select single barrel because I'm not going to have had it. But let's just see what she did. So D. Damn. 46. Maker's 46 at 94 proof. Not a cask strength, not a Private Select. I see it. I've actually never owned that bottle, and I've never tasted that bottle somehow. I've had every other Maker's except 46 at the normal 94 proof. So I said it was 112 proof, no points. I did say it was Maker's. I got the distiller point. Type of whiskey and distiller I got. Lowest proof, I would not have gotten that. Highest, not 1920, I got that. Theme, I got the theme. Okay, so there we go. Michael McGuire. Yes, so MGP purchased Luxco, but if anything from Luxco still says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, it is not MGP. It would be Indiana Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Nobody says Indiana Straight Bourbon Whiskey. They just say Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So, like the new the new Old Ezra Rye it just says Straight Rye Whiskey, and that is from MGP. So they did sell, but I don't know what their stocks of Heaven Hill are like, if they're continuing to buy those stocks or if everything is going to go to MGP, which I would expect it would to maximize profits. But for now, Luxco still has Heaven Hill sourced stuff on the market, presumably. Okay. All right, guys. So let's talk about the points here. What's going on? So total possible points. 15 plus 4. So we got 19, 21, and then 41 possible points. Okay, 41 possible points. Glass A, I got Class A, I got 1 point. Okay, I think I got 1 point. I said it was the type of bourbon was wheated bourbon. Type of whiskey was wheated bourbon. I didn't get proof. I didn't get distiller. So I got 1 point on Glass A out of 41. God bless America. Glass B, I got proof within 5. Yep, I got it. So that's 2 points total. I got wheated, 3 points total. And the 4th point was that I guessed Heaven Hill, which is the source, presumably, for David Nicholson. I did not guess the bottle on that. Okay. Glass C, I guessed proof within 5, so 5 points. I guessed it's a wheated bourbon, 6 points. I guessed distiller, which is 7 points. I guessed the bottle, which is 12 points. Okay, 12 points from C. D, type of Glass D, makers, 13 points. I got the type of whiskey, wheated bourbon. Distiller, I got 14 points for makers. Did not get the proof. And then I did not get the correct bottle. 14 points. So theme, 2 points, 16 points. Now let's go to the general questions. Are any of these finished? I said no. So 17 points. I did not get lowest or highest proof, and I said 19, 20. So 18 out of 41. It's not good. 18 out of 41 is not good. I'm pissed. Amy, that was a great flight. I knew it was wheated bourbons. I'm glad the makers helped me realize that. My proof meter was off tonight. I guess the makers, the first bottle, what was the first bottle? The sweet wheat. The sweet wheat fucked me up pretty bad. So, and the Nicholson I've never had. So I feel like I was like on the trail of most of these, but I didn't finish out. But I do feel like I did pretty well. Like, given what these are, I do feel like I did well. All right, let me look at the chat. All right, I got to scroll way back. I got to scroll way back. I think Sarah just got home. Sarah, are you home? I love you. I love her. Can we add a triangle ding to every time you get one right? I'll bring a triangle up here. Dan calls. Dan, this is fun. Talking a lot about Dan. Let's see. What was your fave? Says Lord Jules. Now that I know what they are, that's not super fair. But I'm just gonna smell them again. I'm gonna be honest with you. Glass B was my favorite, which was the David Nicholson. The David Nicholson's my favorite. Antique is going to be a lot of people's favorite if they know what it is, but David Nicholson, Blind, for me, that was my favorite. Thank you, Sandeep. Appreciate that comment. Let me keep scrolling down. What's going on here? My mouse is super slow. Yeah, my mouse is really slow. I actually think it's just StreamYard being slow. Amy says, on the nose, Maker's Marks really stands out. I can see how that triggered me. Yeah. It's that thing that Matt Porter talks about, the dairy note. Spoiled dairy. Let's keep going down. It's like the SAT on bourbon, yeah. Gary Franchi, what's up, dude? Luxco's been distilling their own in Bardstown for the past couple of years, their own distillate. Not sure when that stuff will start getting bottled. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's what this is. Lord Jules, did you rank them? Oh, was that I don't know if that was part of it, but I will rank them. I'll say Glass B is my favorite. It's gonna go for me B, C, so Nicholson, Antique, Sweet Wheat, and then the last place is gonna be the Makers 46. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. You said I nailed it. I didn't nail it, but I got close on a lot of things. You know. Okay, there we go. Cam's new mouse fun, says Jeb. Yeah, it's not the mouse. I think my connection's just kind of shitty right now. Oh, Amy says the Nicholson is probably a bottle from 5 or so years ago. Yeah, it's actually really good. I would mistake this Nicholson for like an Old Fitz 8 to 11 year. Like in this flight, I was willing to believe it was an Old Fitz. So that's great. All right. I have to get off here. I have to order some tacos with corn tortillas and no dairy so that I can make it through the night and be functional tomorrow morning. But, Amy, thank you for letting me do this flight tonight. This is a cool flight. This is a very hard flight. And I hope Trev doesn't or did not watch this, and he does this flight too, because this will be interesting to see what he says. Please, nobody spoil this. Nobody call Trev or comment or let Trev know what's going on. Don't do it. Let's just see how he does on this flight if he does it by himself. So, the Sweet Wheat, that's the one that threw me. David, you're right. Amy, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Hit that like button on your way out. I will see you Tuesday night for a Woodford Reserve Tuesday Taste Along, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll see you the Thursday night. And new content should be out tomorrow. As long as I get it done, should be out tomorrow. Cheers. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for hanging out.